There's a quiet secret almost everyone keeps, a hidden truth about how we perceive each other, especially as the years unfold. It's the silent observations made by friends, family, and even strangers, subtle shifts in behavior or appearance that, left unchecked, can unknowingly distance us from the very connections we cherish. Imagine a world where your intentions are pure, your spirit vibrant, yet a silent message you're broadcasting inadvertently makes you seem less engaged, less approachable, or even less confident than you truly are. This isn't about vanity, it's about connection, about maintaining your powerful presence in every room you enter, at every social gathering you attend. What if you're unconsciously doing things that subtly diminish your influence, your warmth, or your perceived vitality, and no one, out of politeness or discomfort, will ever clue you in? The sheer thought can be unsettling, a gnawing concern that something crucial is slipping through your fingers unnoticed. But what if there was a way to decode these unspoken signals, a chance to reclaim control, not just over how others see you, but how you truly feel about yourself, ensuring your later years are marked by confidence, grace, and unwavering self-awareness? Stay with us, because what you're about to discover will fundamentally change the way you navigate social interactions and perceive the journey of aging. You'll learn the crucial, often overlooked cues that shape how others truly see you and, even better, discover simple, elegant ways to adjust, ensuring you remain sharp, stylish, and deeply respected at every stage of life. This knowledge is too important to miss. It's the key to unlocking a more vibrant, connected future. Neglecting personal grooming. One of the very first things people unconsciously notice, yet almost universally hesitate to mention, is when an individual begins to let go of their personal grooming habits. As we accumulate years and navigate the natural ebbs and flows of life, it's remarkably easy to overlook what might seem like small, insignificant details. We might forget to trim our nails regularly, or our hair might become less managed, perhaps a bit unruly. Keeping our clothes consistently fresh, clean, and well-pressed might slide down the list of daily priorities. The subtle yet undeniable problem with these seemingly minor lapses is that they accumulate over time, sending a powerful, often unintended message to those around us. These little things, when added together, can inadvertently make a person appear older, more fatigued, or even less approachable than they actually are, creating a subconscious barrier in social interactions. Consider the story of Walter, an 82-year-old gentleman who, for most of his life, was renowned for his impeccable appearance and sharp presentation. He was always the one with the perfectly coiffed hair, neatly trimmed beard, and crisp shirts. However, as the years marched on, a gradual shift occurred. Walter slowly stopped paying attention to the finer details. His eyebrows became a bit wild and untamed, his once neat hair grew a little shaggy and unstyled, and he found himself reaching for the same comfortable, albeit faded and well-worn, shirts day after day. His beloved family noticed this change. His friendly neighbors certainly observed it, but out of deep respect and a desire not to offend, not a single person uttered a word. This unspoken silence continued until one morning, as Walter gazed into the mirror, a moment of profound realization washed over him. He truly looked different, almost like a stranger, and it wasn't a positive transformation. That very day, he decided to take action. He visited his barber for a proper haircut and shave, and he consciously updated a few key pieces of his wardrobe. The results were almost instantaneous and deeply impactful. Not only did Walter feel an immediate surge of renewed confidence and vibrancy within himself, causing him to stand a little taller, but he also noticed a remarkable shift in how people responded to him. Conversations became more engaging, smiles seemed brighter, and interactions felt more positive and welcoming. The profound reality here is that when personal grooming begins to slip, its impact extends far beyond mere superficial appearance. It profoundly influences how people perceive your energy levels, your attention to detail, and your overall confidence. Research consistently demonstrates that individuals who feel well-groomed tend to carry themselves with a distinct difference. They exude an aura of self-assurance, making them appear more engaged, more dynamic, and frankly, more vibrant. Conversely, unkempt hair, nails that are allowed to grow long or become dirty, and even the simple neglect of a basic skincare routine can make a person appear significantly older and more withdrawn than their true age or inner spirit suggests. It's a silent signal that can inadvertently push people away. So, what incredibly simple yet powerful steps can you take to ensure you're always presenting your best self? The key is to keep it straightforward and consistent. Regular haircuts or trims are fundamental. They frame your face and communicate care. Keeping your nails neatly trimmed and clean sends a clear message of hygiene and attention. Opting for clean, well-fitting clothes, even if they are casual, makes an enormous difference in how you present yourself and how others perceive your overall demeanor. If skincare has previously been low on your list of priorities, simply incorporating a basic moisturizer and a hydrating lip balm can work wonders, preventing dry, flaky skin and helping you look and feel visibly more refreshed and revitalized. For those who sport facial hair, maintaining it with neat trims can instantly elevate your appearance, adding a polished and put-together touch. There's no need to dedicate hours to elaborate routines or expensive treatments. Simply dedicating a little more conscious attention to these aspects of personal grooming can profoundly enhance your perceived health, boost your self-confidence, and, crucially, ensure you consistently make the most positive and lasting impression possible in every interaction. Speaking too loudly or interrupting conversations. A common yet frequently unspoken challenge that subtly emerges with age is a noticeable shift in how we communicate, particularly concerning vocal volume and conversational etiquette. Many older adults, quite unknowingly, begin to speak much louder than they realize, often without any conscious intent to dominate or disrupt. This change can lead to inadvertently interrupting ongoing conversations or taking over discussions, pushing others to the sidelines. More often than not, this phenomenon stems from gradual, often imperceptible, hearing loss. As hearing diminishes, it becomes increasingly difficult for individuals to accurately gauge the volume of their own voice, leading them to speak louder in an attempt to hear themselves and feel engaged. The particularly tricky and sensitive aspect of this issue is that most people, out of a desire to avoid causing embarrassment or offense, will never directly point it out. It's one of those subtle behaviors that others simply tolerate, making a mental note of it, yet it invariably impacts the flow and comfort of social interactions. Consider the experience of George, a sprightly 77-year-old who absolutely adored socializing with his wide circle of friends and cherished family. He was known for his lively spirit and engaging anecdotes. However, over a period of time, George's voice began to gradually increase in volume, becoming noticeably louder in conversations. Sometimes, without realizing it, he would cut people off mid-sentence, eager to share his thoughts. His family, of course, noticed this change, as did his friends. But the collective consensus was to avoid embarrassing him by bringing it up. One evening, during a bustling dinner gathering, George observed a subtle, unsettling pattern. People seemed to be subtly leaning back, or even slightly retreating when he began to speak. It was in that moment, seeing the slight discomfort in their eyes, that a quiet realization dawned on him. His voice had become far more boisterous than he had ever intended. Following this epiphany, George took the proactive step of getting his hearing thoroughly checked. With the aid of subtle hearing adjustments and a conscious, deliberate effort to moderate his vocal volume, he began to notice something truly remarkable. Conversations felt significantly smoother, more natural, and crucially, people appeared far more comfortable and relaxed in his presence. The shift was profound, transforming his social engagements for the better. The underlying truth of this situation is that hearing loss is often a gradual process, creeping in almost unnoticed, and many individuals are entirely unaware that people will not just want to talk with you more often. They will actively seek out your company, valuing the richness and balance you bring to every exchange. Wearing outdated or ill-fitting clothes, Among the myriad things that often slip under the radar with the passage of time, one of the easiest to overlook is the impact of our clothing choices. Many older adults find themselves clinging steadfastly to the same familiar outfits for years, even decades. This adherence can stem from a variety of understandable reasons. Perhaps these garments offer unparalleled comfort. They hold a sentimental familiarity, or simply because the prioritization of fashion, as it once was, has naturally receded into the background. Yet, here lies the subtle, often unrecognized problem. Clothes inherently send a message, whether we consciously intend for them to or not. Wearing garments that are visibly faded, stretched out of shape, or decidedly outdated in their style can inadvertently make a person appear older than their years and considerably less put together, even if they harbor a vibrant and energetic spirit within. It's a disconnect between internal vitality and external presentation that can subtly alter perceptions. Consider the compelling case of Harold, an 80-year-old who had always, throughout his life, prided himself on his impeccable sense of style and sharp attire. He understood the power of a well-chosen outfit. However, as the years progressed, Harold gradually ceased to pay the same meticulous attention to his wardrobe. He found himself increasingly relying on a collection of old, often baggy, clothes that had long since lost their original shape and vibrancy. His devoted family noticed this quiet shift. His close friends were certainly aware, but again, in the spirit of politeness and not wanting to cause offense, no one dared to comment. Then, one transformative day, Harold decided to try on a crisply laundered, well-fitted button-down shirt paired with a newer, more tailored pair of trousers. The effect was immediate and astonishing. People around him showered him with genuine compliments. He felt an undeniable surge of sharpness and renewed confidence, and he even found himself standing a little taller, embodying a rediscovered posture of pride. He hadn't undergone a radical transformation. Rather, these small intentional updates created an immense and disproportionately positive difference in his overall presentation and how he was received. The profound reality is that your clothing choices undeniably influence how others perceive you, often at a subconscious level. Numerous studies have consistently shown that people instinctively associate well-fitted, clean clothing with positive attributes such as confidence, vitality, and even a sense of purpose. Conversely, baggy, worn-out, or poorly maintained clothes can inadvertently convey an impression of sloppiness, disengagement, or even a lack of self-care. This isn't to suggest that you must relentlessly chase fleeting modern trends or spend fortunes on designer labels. The true power lies in cultivating a clean, structured, and intentional look that speaks to your personality. Such an approach can make you feel undeniably more vibrant, more respected, and more present in every situation. So, what easily implementable steps can you take to refresh your wardrobe and enhance your presentation? Begin with small, manageable adjustments, investing in just a few carefully chosen pieces, perhaps a crisp, tailored button-up shirt, a pair of properly fitted pants that flatter your figure, or a stylish jacket that adds structure and flair, can instantly revitalize your entire appearance. Pay close attention to colors that genuinely complement your skin tone, bringing out your natural radiance, and opt for fabrics that not only feel comfortable against your skin, but also possess enough structure to maintain their shape and drape elegantly. Even seemingly minor updates to your footwear or the addition of carefully selected accessories like a quality watch or a handsome belt can significantly elevate your overall look. If you find yourself feeling unsure or overwhelmed about where to begin, don't hesitate to seek advice from a trusted, stylish friend whose taste you admire, or even a knowledgeable salesperson who can guide you towards options that genuinely feel right and authentic to your personal style. The ultimate objective is not to attempt to dress like someone else entirely, nor is it to emulate a younger generation. The true key lies in wearing clothes that fit your body well, look fresh and cared for, and most importantly, make you feel genuinely confident and comfortable in your own skin. When you achieve this, you won't merely look better to others. You will profoundly feel better about yourself, and that positive energy will radiate outwards, becoming undeniably noticed and appreciated by everyone you encounter. Complaining or criticizing too much. One of the most subtle yet profoundly effective ways to inadvertently push people away, often without even the slightest awareness, is by developing a habit of constant complaining or excessive criticism. It's an easy trap to fall into as the years progress, where one might find themselves perpetually commenting on everything that seems amiss in the world around them. This can manifest as laments about the complexity of modern technology, criticisms directed at younger generations, detailed discussions about various aches and pains, or a general yearning for the good old days when things were purportedly better or simpler. The insidious problem with this pervasive negative commentary, even when it's not delivered with malicious intent, is its uncanny ability to drain the vital energy from any conversation, leaving those around you feeling depleted and, crucially, far less eager to spend their precious time in your company. It erects an invisible barrier to genuine connection. Consider the poignant example of Roger, a 75-year-old who, for much of his life, absolutely loved to share his strong opinions and observations with anyone who would listen. Initially, his comments were merely small, often charming observations, reflections on how things used to be better, gentle musings on how young people don't work as hard these days, or general remarks about how everything today feels so rushed and impersonal. However, over a gradual but steady period, an unspoken shift occurred. His family and close friends, while still loving him deeply, began to engage with him less and less. They found themselves subtly, almost unconsciously, avoiding lengthy conversations because they had come to anticipate that any extended interaction would inevitably devolve into a predictable litany of complaints and grievances. The joy began to seep out of their time together. The turning point arrived one day when his young grandson, with the innocent bluntness only a child can possess, looked up at him and asked, "Grandpa, do you even like anything these days?" That question, delivered with simple honesty, struck Roger with profound force, cutting through the haze of his habitual negativity. In that piercing moment, he realized with stark clarity that he had indeed stopped actively focusing on and appreciating the good things, the beautiful moments, and the simple joys that still permeated his life. The undeniable truth is that negative energy possesses a powerful and highly contagious quality. When we consistently express frustration, even in seemingly small, innocuous doses, it fundamentally alters the emotional atmosphere and the mood of those around us. It transforms otherwise light-hearted interactions into something heavy, burdensome, and emotionally draining. Conversely, human beings are naturally wired to gravitate towards positivity, warmth, and genuine enthusiasm. This is not to suggest that you must don a mask of perpetual bliss or pretend that everything in your life is absolutely perfect. Life, after all, is filled with legitimate challenges and frustrations. However, the true art lies in skillfully balancing any necessary complaints or concerns with an equal measure of something positive, something hopeful, or something light-hearted. This mindful approach can keep conversations enjoyable, engaging, and mutually uplifting, fostering deeper, more fulfilling connections. So, what practical and transformative steps can you implement to cultivate a more positive conversational style? The foundational practice is heightened self-awareness. Begin to pay meticulous attention to how often you introduce complaints or criticisms into your conversations. If you discern a pattern of this happening frequently, actively challenge yourself to consciously shift your focus. Instead of defaulting to the tired refrain of "everything was better back in my day," try rephrasing it. "Things were certainly different in my day, and I remember X, Y, Z fondly, but I'm genuinely curious. How does this new way work for you?" This subtle shift transforms a complaint into an open-ended question, inviting engagement rather than closing it off. Instead of dwelling solely on what is perceived as wrong, actively train yourself to seek out something interesting, something humorous, or something genuinely positive in every situation. People are naturally drawn to and profoundly enjoy being around those who make them feel good about themselves, who inspire them, or who engage them in truly meaningful and uplifting ways. The essential key here is not to suppress your authentic thoughts or feelings entirely, but rather to strive for a harmonious balance between expressing legitimate concerns and cultivating a profound sense of appreciation for the world around you. When you master this delicate equilibrium, people will not only enjoy conversing with you more, they will actively seek out your company because your very presence feels uplifting, invigorating, and enriching rather than emotionally draining. Ignoring posture and body language. Among the most subtle yet profoundly noticeable indicators of aging is the way an individual carries themselves, their overall posture and body language. Over the passage of time, it's remarkably easy to gradually develop habits such as slouching, shuffling one's feet while walking, or adopting a generally closed-off or withdrawn stance. These physical manifestations, often unconscious, send powerful signals to everyone around us. The crucial problem is that people don't merely process the words you speak. They instinctively and continuously read your body language, and your posture forms an immense, often dominant part of that silent communication. A slumped posture, slow or consistently demonstrated that individuals who exhibit strong, upright posture and open, inviting body language are almost universally perceived as more confident, more energetic, and even appear years younger than those who slouch or adopt a more closed demeanor. Slouching by its very nature tends to make you look more tired, more listless, and less engaged. In stark contrast, standing tall and proud naturally signals strength, vitality, and an active presence. Even something as seemingly minor as keeping your hands visible and relaxed, rather than defensively crossing your arms, can make an enormous difference in how engaging and approachable you appear during conversations, inviting connection rather than signaling aloofness. So, what actionable and simple steps can you implement to harness the power of your posture and body language? Begin with tiny, manageable adjustments and build from there. Develop a conscious awareness of your posture, whether you are sitting, standing, or walking. A wonderfully simple trick is to imagine a gentle string attached to the very crown of your head, subtly pulling you upwards towards the ceiling. This mental image naturally encourages your spine to align itself in a healthy, upright position without feeling stiff or forced. When you walk, consciously lift your feet fully off the ground, avoiding the common habit of shuffling, which can convey a sense of feebleness. During conversations, make an effort to face people directly, maintain comfortable and appropriate eye contact, which signals attentiveness and confidence, and use small, natural hand gestures to keep the interaction dynamic, engaging, and authentic. The way you carry yourself is an incredibly powerful, non-verbal communicator that profoundly influences how people perceive you, whether they see you as lively, capable, and confident, or as distant, disengaged, or even somewhat fragile. By making these small, deliberate adjustments, you can instantly appear more present, more capable, and significantly more approachable, all without uttering a single word. Bad breath or body odor. Among the most universally uncomfortable subjects for people to discuss directly, yet simultaneously, one of the very first and most impactful things they unconsciously notice is the presence of unpleasant breath or body odor. This is a particularly delicate issue because the truth is, as we grow older, our sense of smell can naturally and subtly weaken. This diminished olfactory sense means we might not readily detect changes in our own personal scent, even when those around us do. Various factors can contribute to these issues. Certain medications we might be taking, specific dietary choices, and even simple dehydration can play significant roles. The sensitive dilemma is that the vast majority of people, out of politeness, social discomfort, or fear of offending, will never, ever mention it directly. Instead, they will simply and subtly begin to keep their distance, find discreet ways to shorten conversations, or avoid close proximity, leaving the individual unaware of the underlying reason for these altered interactions. Consider the poignant example of Frank, a 78-year-old gentleman who was once renowned as the life of every party, a captivating storyteller who loved nothing more than catching up with old friends. However, Frank began to notice a disquieting trend. People weren't standing as close to him as they once did. His neighbor, with whom he used to chat for hours over the fence, now made conversations conspicuously quick and distant, almost as if rushing away. Frank was perplexed, feeling a growing sense of isolation but unable to pinpoint the cause. It wasn't until his kind and empathetic daughter, with great gentleness and love, subtly suggested he might try a new, more effective mouthwash and make a conscious effort to drink more water throughout the day, that the uncomfortable realization finally dawned on him. With just a few small, consistent changes, like staying thoroughly hydrated, regularly chewing sugar-free gum to stimulate saliva, and switching to a more potent deodorant, Frank experienced a dramatic transformation. Suddenly, people leaned in closer again, interactions felt genuinely warmer, and, most importantly, he regained his lost confidence, once again feeling connected and comfortable in social settings. The profound truth underpinning this issue is that dry mouth is one of the leading causes of persistent bad breath, and unfortunately, it becomes significantly more common as we age due to physiological changes and medication side effects. When the mouth doesn't produce an adequate amount of saliva, bacteria multiply much more rapidly, leading to the accumulation of volatile compounds that cause unpleasant odors. Similarly, subtle shifts in diet, digestive processes, and metabolic functions can cause body odor to change and intensify over time. Even something as seemingly trivial as repeatedly wearing the same clothes for too many days before washing them can accumulate body oils and odors, making a noticeable impact on one's overall scent profile. These factors, though often invisible to the individual, are very much perceptible to others. So what effective and straightforward strategies can you implement to proactively stay ahead of these subtle but impactful hygiene issues? Prioritize hydration. Drinking plenty of water consistently throughout the day is fundamental, as it keeps your mouth moist, stimulates saliva production, and significantly prevents dry mouth. Chewing sugar-free gum or sucking on sugar-free mints can also effectively help stimulate saliva flow, refreshing your breath. Using an alcohol-free mouthwash is crucial, as alcohol-based rinses can paradoxically dry out the mouth, exacerbating bad breath. For body odor, simple yet highly effective measures include wearing breathable fabrics like cotton or linen, showering regularly and thoroughly, and rotating between different types or brands of deodorant to find what works best for your body chemistry. And critically, do not underestimate the profound difference that frequently washing clothes, bed sheets, and even items like hats or scarves can make. These fabrics absorb and retain odors over time. The fundamental key takeaway here is that good hygiene extends far beyond merely feeling clean for your own comfort. It is a critical component of how others perceive your presence, your respect for yourself, and your consideration for them. A few small, consistent adjustments in your daily routine can ensure that when you confidently walk into any room, people instinctively lean in closer, drawn by your pleasant presence, rather than subtly taking a step back. Final thoughts. Now that we have meticulously explored these 6 crucial, often unnoticed but profoundly impactful habits, take a deliberate moment to pause and reflect. The intricate way we choose to present ourselves, the nuanced manner in which we communicate, and the diligent maintenance of our daily routines all collectively and powerfully affect how others perceive us, whether we are consciously aware of it or not. But here lies the truly empowering and hopeful part. Every single one of these habits is completely and utterly fixable. These are not immutable traits, but rather behaviors open to adjustment and refinement. Even seemingly minor changes, such as paying closer attention to your personal grooming, making thoughtful adjustments to how you engage in conversations, thoughtfully updating your wardrobe, cultivating a mindful awareness of any tendency towards negativity, consciously improving your posture, and maintaining impeccable personal hygiene can collectively make an enormous and positive difference. These adjustments will not only profoundly enhance how you feel about yourself, fostering a renewed sense of confidence and well-being, but will also significantly alter how others respond to you, opening doors to richer, more authentic interactions. Perhaps, as you've delved into these insights, you've recognized one or even two of these habits within yourself. This recognition is not only completely normal, but also the first, most crucial step towards positive change. The essential key here isn't to succumb to feelings of discouragement or self-reproach. Quite the opposite. The key is to feel profoundly empowered. The very fact that you have journeyed through these pages, dedicating your time and thought to these concepts, signifies that you deeply care about maintaining your sharpness, nurturing your confidence, and remaining vibrantly engaged with the dynamic world around you. Aging fundamentally does not signify a diminishment of your presence or influence. Rather, it presents a magnificent opportunity for refinement, for growth, and for deeper self-awareness. With just a little conscious effort, a commitment to these subtle yet powerful adjustments, you can continue to command respect, cultivate and maintain incredibly rich social connections, and truly feel your absolute best every single day, at every stage of your remarkable life.